Okay, we're ready to go, everybody says. So good afternoon. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Al Bartosik, the Executive Director of the Fordham Foundry. And we are pleased to welcome you all to Fordham. For those of you who trekked all the way up from Riverdale, and for those of you who are from Fordham, hopefully you didn't find it too confusing to get to Bepler, which can be a bit of a struggle sometimes. Anyway, this is the third annual Battle of the Bronx. So the best of Manhattan versus the best of Fordham. The trophy that somebody's going to take home is right over there on the table, along with the giant checks. Some lucky winner is going to do that, and there's also going to be a fan favorite. So I'd just like to thank you all, and I'd like to thank everybody who helped organize this. Milton Sussberg, who's wandering around there with a name tag on. And Joe Batista, Joe Nussbaum, Shristi Ossie, who's somewhere, oh, she's in the back taking pictures, of course. Lauren Sweeney, so all of those folks from the Foundry. Don Gibson, Dean Don Gibson, I should say, so I want to give you your due respect. And last but not least, Winston Peters, who directs the program for Manhattan and is going to come up and say a few words. Thanks.
Thank you, Al. Good evening, everyone, and thank you again for participating, people who are online watching, and everyone here for joining us for the third annual Battle of the Bronx. This is one of the events that I'm really excited about, that I really look forward to, not because of the rivalry, not because of the bragging rights, but more so because of seeing the great ideas that students have spent a lot of time developing and nurturing over the whole semester or the whole year. This for both Manhattan College students as well as Fordham. I'm just going to give you a little background of Entrepreneurs at MC, what we have over in Riverdale. So out of the Malley School of Business, Entrepreneurs at MC was created to really extend the entrepreneurial spirit for the students of Manhattan College. We have some really great businesses that have already come out of Entrepreneurs at MC for our even new program. Entrepreneurs at MC really fosters a collaborative environment for students to collaborate, to ideate, and innovate on their ideas and turn those ideas into actual businesses so that they can grow from local to global. Entrepreneurs at MC gives students a head start in making their business ideas tangible. This year in March and beginning of March, we opened up our entrepreneurship center on campus. So we're really excited to really bring more entrepreneurial thinking and entrepreneurial spirit on campus. And we're really looking forward to having more Battle of the Bronx competitions here. So without further ado, who do I turn it over? Oh, I turn it over to Sean Johnson.
All right. So let's get this started. So welcome to our third annual Battle of the Bronx competition. So if you're not aware of what's going to happen, I can tell you, or you can follow along. So please take out your phones and scan this QR code. What that'll do is it'll take you to our program that will tell you exactly what the run of show is, our judges, and our distinguished teams that will be competing. Okay, now, if you don't have a smartphone handy, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. So the agenda for today is you've been networking, and I'm welcoming you now. We're soon to get startup pitches from 6 teams, 3 from Manhattan College, 3 from Fordham University, that will provide 5-minute pitches with 5 minutes of Q&A from our judges. Then you'll get a chance to enter into a networking break, which is also your opportunity to meet some of the teams and for the teams to get the chance to meet you. During that time, our judges will be deliberating and having the decision on who will win, while you also get to play the role of a judge. So we'll give you more on that later and how you can vote for your fan favorite, but the power is in your hands. So I encourage you all to follow along, think good questions, and you decide who you think should be the fan favorite winner, because we've got one of those big checks for them based off of the will of the crowd. And then networking, closing, and you can get on with the rest of your day. Right. So before I get into the order of pitches, I do want to ask the judges to come up and just say a tweet on who you are. And I'm asking you to come up just so that we can get this on video for the YouTube Live. So if the 4 of you can, join me and tell us who you are.
Good evening, everyone. Call and response. I'm Michael Pardis. I'm the Executive Director of BCDI, the Bronx Cooperative Development Initiative. We do community wealth building and equitable economic development for the borough of the Bronx. And tonight I am looking for how. How are you going to get there? So not just vision, but how. And are you going alone or are you going with others? Excited to be here. Thank you all.
Thank you.
How are we doing? Okay. My name's Andre Smith. I'm an executive producer and director of strategy at APX. We are an energy marketing studio specializing in brand purpose and social impact. Happy to be here, lending my eye and my brain with you all.
Hey guys, Ryan Foss, should to speak. I run a venture capital consulting business. My clients are banks, public companies, startups, funds. I'm also an investor in a lot of venture funds and 30 plus angel investments in startups. Happy to be here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan Adams. I am a consultant who works with campaigns, causes, and companies that are trying to do big things and grow mighty. I a couple of angel investments and work with a lot of startups. And I wanna hear the why if you're gonna hear the how. And yeah.
All right. Thank you to our judges. And without further ado, this will be the order of the pitches. So we're going to start off with Jump Right, followed by I Learned US, then Number Hop, Share Your Ad, Pal Deliver, and Eliza. Jump Right. The floor is yours.
Hey, hello everyone. I'm John Devana.
Birdie.
I'm Matthew Taibbi.
And this is Jump Right. Jump Right is a knee brace that we designed to prevent ACL tears in women athletes.
So there are two main reasons why we chose to focus on female athletes in particular. The first of which being the growth in women's sports in general over the past few decades, highlighted most recently by the fact that the NCAA women's basketball finale had actually more viewers than any NBA game so far this year, headlined by star players Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, pictured here on the right. And there's also been millions of dollars invested into women's sports and related products that focus on protecting the health of female athletes. So an investment in a product like Jump Right would prove essential in protecting a player's physical and financial future. The second reason we chose to focus on female athletes in particular is because of the anatomical and biomechanical differences between men and women that leave women 2 to 8 times more likely to suffer an ACL injury in comparison to men. And these injuries most commonly occur in sports like soccer and basketball and can have lengthy recovery times that can also have lasting implications on an athlete's career. So with that in mind, the purpose of our brace is to essentially retrain the muscles around the knee to prevent those ACL injuries from occurring in the first place.
So how our brace works. So we chose to 3D print our brace because it was more cost effective to manufacture multiple braces at a time. Also, since our brace is 3D printed, we have the ability to scale it to different size options, as well as custom fitted to fit around any athlete's leg. There's also foam and Velcro straps surrounding the brace, which provide comfort and flexibility, seen as the dancer in the picture is able to do a cartwheel in it. And the women athletes wear the brace during stability workout sessions because that's where proper form is most important to build the muscles around the ACL. We tested our brace with the women's dance and soccer teams at Manhattan College, where they wore the brace for 6 weeks and performed the stability workout sessions, and we tracked an improvement in their form throughout the research. And we offer our brace in a standard sizing option, as well as a customizable sizing option. And for our business plan, we could look at a SWOT analysis. So we know that our strengths is that we do have research backing our brace. We know that it works. We tested it. And we also know that we're the cheapest on the market. However, we have a weakness of customer adoption. Being a new product, it does make it more challenging to acquire new customers. But we do have some opportunities. Like we said, there is a lot of growth in women's sports right now, both on the collegiate and professional level. And we also have the opportunity to supply trainers and physical therapists with our brace to use with their clients. And athletes can now also accept name, image, and likeness deals, which they can help us promote our brace on their social media accounts. And we have the threat of other brace companies being able to pivot into our space by creating a similar brace.
So in terms of our sales, it takes about $90 to produce a brace, and we would be selling this for $150 for the standard option and $180 for the customizable option. We were also hoping to sell to teams, and they can get a brace for each one of their players as a customizable option. And in terms of our market, we are looking to target women that are 13 to 25 years of age, as this is when they're most likely to tear their ACL. This is also when they're looking to perform collegiate or professional sports. We would be marketing this as a femtech product and be purchasing using the websites as well as stands and shops. And we'd be using an omni-channel marketing strategy, which would focus on the customer and allow for their input as well as the personalized fit for the customers. So in terms of outreach, like JP said, in order to make adoption even better, we hope to travel to different tournaments like MAC, which is Manhattan College is a part of. We would also be going to neighboring colleges like Fordham and Iona so that we could promote the braces to their athletes. And in terms of social media presence, we hope to include the NIL deals and do paid partnerships with the different athletes at these schools. And we would also reach out to physical therapists as well as medical firms and athletic trainers. Since they are working one-on-one with these athletes, they can promote our brace and recommend it for their recovery times. In terms of our business strategy, we will be using a blue ocean strategy. And this is where we have little competition in the market. And most braces on the market are currently used after injury or during recovery. Ours is used prior to it. And so the competitors that do preventative braces are John Joy and Bragg. However, their braces are upward of $400, making us a much more cost-effective option. And in terms of our competitive advantage, we have proper fitting, which is crucial in recovery. And we also know that with the rise of women's sports, athletes are deciding to prioritize their health before anything else and to prevent injury. So choosing Jump Right is going to be the way that they can do this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect timing. So why don't we hear from our judges? First question goes to you, Ryan.
Great presentation. Great job. So who, do you know Malcolm Gladwell and like Mavens, like the person that people go to for information that they trust? Who is the like main channel for referrals for this product? Is it trainers? Is it like, are people generally researching things? Like my wife is a runner and like, would she go to her doctor and get this, or would she like find this on Reddit in a running subgroup?
I mean, we're looking to target both sides of it just because obviously when athletes get injured, most likely they go to like a physical therapist and they're like, oh, my ankle's injured. And when they're trying to recover, their knees are also becoming weaker. So this is an option to be like, okay, while we recover and make sure your ankle's okay, let's strengthen the muscles around the knee. And this is what the brace would be used for. So they'd be able to do that. And then in terms of finding it, like going to like the stands and shops. So like those athletes that are already going to those things, they can like go to the stands and shops and be like, oh, this is a type of preventative care. Let me buy this because I don't want to get injured. Because any athlete will tell you that once they're injured, like you're never coming back to your full potential.
Okay.
Do you plan to expand into other categories, or like why segment yourself just to women's sports? Is it that's where you're starting and then you're going to expand?
So we are starting in women's sports because we want to really target that demand. Like we said, women's sports is on the rise right now, and there is that women are more likely to tear their ACL. So we want to specifically start with women, but the brace can be used for men too. But to really push women to start using the brace specifically, we want to just start targeting to them.
So technically anyone could use the brace. You're not going to create a second brace.
Right.
Okay.
It would just be different sizing because obviously men have different size. So, but we can obviously do that with the 3D printing.
Yeah.
You can change the size of the brace or what.
When you talk about demand, what are the complaints you're seeing in the market from existing braces? So if I'm paying $400 for a brace, what am I complaining about?
I would say the biggest complaint is sizing issues, because any brace is going to be worn during physical movement. So just in like general walking, I've seen complaints from other brace companies that the brace would just be falling off. With ours, since we have the custom brace, it fits properly and it's comfortable.
When you say custom, if I want a custom brace, do I have to come see you physically, or am I uploading measurements? How does the custom
Uploading-
process make?
Uploading measurements, and then we're able to scale the brace based on those.
Not so much questions, but just pointers for next time you have an opportunity to do the Shark Tank type vibe here. You should lead. One, your product's main consumer, at least right now, is women, right? So it would logically be women should be leading the pitch, right? Secondly, I would say that there's a little tension between cost effective and cheapest. When you're asking for money or buy-in, you want to be aligned on that type of verbiage, because wordplay can make a deal or it can make a deal float away like an iceberg. I love the way you kind of teed it up in the beginning. I wanted to know, did you guys rehearse, like, did you guys have sufficient time for rehearsal, or was it just like the state of spring semester?
Yeah, we definitely pitched quite a few times, yeah, to practice like
Okay.
the intro and stuff, yeah.
Okay. The culture soundbite was good. I almost feel like you should have started with the soundbite about the stats first, because people want to know you understand the numbers more than you understand the culture. So numbers first, culture soundbite second. But other than that, it was really great.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe for the lay audience, one question. NIL, why is this lucrative? What exactly it is concisely? The second question is, why you all? So why are you all the team that will do this successfully? Yeah, you could go. I'm giving the mic back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, at least for me, I was an athlete all my life, and I've also had knee injuries. So, like, this was what really drew me to it. I also had a bunch of teammates who did tear their ACL. I played soccer. And so having a brace, like, if we could all have a team like meeting and all get a brace that's customizable and have a practice that's just designated to that, and doing the exercises to strengthen the muscles, we would have done that. That's exactly what we would have done. If that was like an option, which is, it's very rare and it's way too expensive at the moment for the 400 up for the braces on the market right now.
What about you two? Okay, you got it. What about you?
I worked at a orthopedic hospital over the summer, and that's where I really was introduced to the demand of ACL tears, like how common they are. I was seeing patients on a daily basis that tore their ACL and had surgery to recover from it, and I saw that process and saw that there was a need for a product to prevent it.
I was also on sports teams in high school, so I knew of some people that suffered ACL injuries, and it was a pretty tough process for them to go through. So if you could have something that could prevent something like that, someone from going through something like that, I think that's always positive.
All right. Thank you, Jump Right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for jumping in and being our first. We're going to be moving right along into iLearnUS.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ivy, and I'm the founder of iLearnUS. So what is iLearnUS? iLearnUS is a centralized app that will act as an informational hub to guide and support immigrants in navigating life in the United States in a language setting of their native tongue. It will include services such as health, household activities, finances, English language learning, career services, and navigation. So why am I doing this? I'm doing this because my Bengali immigrant parents really struggle to adjust to the United States, and they constantly have questions up until this day, despite being here for over 20 years now. So the problem is that the US has the highest number of immigrants in the world at a total of 46.2 million as of 2022, but 85% of those immigrants report feeling extreme stress, and 75% feel a lack of support. So why now? The US immigrant population is consistently increasing, but there's still a lack of a unified support system. There are increased fears and uncertainties that US immigrants face, and it can have negative effects on their health. And if such effects include behavioral changes such as problems sleeping and eating, and also mental health issues. So the team so far, I am a solo founder so far, but iLearnUS was recently accepted to a pre-accelerator program called Innovators of Progress. And my mentor is technology director and entrepreneur himself, Marcus Proctor. And I'm currently in the middle of conducting customer discovery interviews, and I was granted $1,000 in seed funding as well to conduct further market research. So my value proposition is that iLearn US provides immigrants experiencing stress with strategic technology-enabled support so that they can cultivate confidence and security to live a well-informed life in the United States. I've conducted 35 customer discovery interviews so far since February of 2023, and I have averaged their pain points on a scale of 1 to 4, with 4 being the highest level. So the impact of final financial pain is at the highest at 3.68, followed by urgency at 3.62, impact on life quality at 3.55, and frequency at 3.51. So one of the interviewees also, who is a first-generation immigrant student, stated that she feels like, quote, she barely knows anything, which pretty much sums up the lack of confidence, knowledge, and security that immigrants face in the United States. So iLearn US's biggest competition is an app called Find Hello, which helps immigrants find nearby health, professional education, and housing services on a searchable map. It is also available in 6 different languages. But what sets iLearn US apart? iLearn US equips users with knowledge on how to use these resources rather than solely providing them. And it is also holistic with a larger range of services. And it will also be available in the top 10 spoken languages in the United States, and that number is going to expand as the business itself grows. So my target market are immigrants living specifically in dense populated immigrant states such as New York, California, Florida, and Texas. And I will also target immigrants who are Android users and iPhone users in these states. So as for my customers, I am also expanding to higher education first-generation students as well as immigrants who are in the workforce. And I've expanded my market to first-generation students and children and relatives of immigrants as well, because they're usually the ones who help their immigrant parents and support them, and they're usually alone in this. So it would be helpful for them to introduce the app to them as a pipeline to their immigrant relatives, and it would also reduce a lot of the stress on them as well. So I will reach them through online marketing. That's my plan so far. Key social media channels include Facebook, especially Instagram and Twitter. And for offline marketing, I will put up flyers and hand out flyers in common places of congregation where immigrants are, such as like churches, laundromats, and grocery stores and libraries. And living in such a diverse city is a huge advantage for this because there's so many neighborhoods like Jackson Heights, Flushing, Chinatown, where these populations are very dense and very diverse. So my cost structure is based on an estimated capital of $10,000, which will be distributed by 20% for software, 15% for marketing, 20% for application development, 10% for maintenance, 15% for analysis, and 10% each for incorporation and wages. So my revenue model consists of in-app advertisements where I will partner with companies to market their services. There will also be a one-time download fee, and I will also consider government funding. And while it is still in the seed stage, 1 year after launch, I'm projecting about $20,000 in profit, and not profit, sales, and costs would be about $10,000. And I also won the Social Innovation Challenge, which also gave me $4,000 in funding, and that combined gives me a total of $5,000 currently. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll start on this side with our judges.
Thank you for the presentation. Social entrepreneurship, I love it. I also love the government, right? A lot of entrepreneurs and business owners underestimate government R&D and just general investment. What would be your first hire? Or what would be the first thing? I saw the breakdown, but what if you had a catalytic investment? I see this, but if you had a catalytic investment, since you're solo, what would be your first investment, or who would your first investment be in? And what would you do with a catalytic investment first?
I would probably, a catalytic investor, I would probably go for someone who's experienced in technology entrepreneurship. Like my mentor, for example, right now, he has a lot of connections to a lot of technological entrepreneurs that I can have the network to, the access to. So that is a good place where I'm looking to start, because I can reach out to a lot of them and pitch to them, and that's where the communication can start getting going.
Was that alarm your alarm that went off a little while ago?
No.
No? Okay.
I think it was over there.
It's all good.
Sorry.
So feedback first and then my questions.
Okay. Thank you.
But after that little alarm went off, and I just thought it was yours, you
Uh-huh.
started to kind of put pressure on yourself on time, and you started
Yeah.
doing double time. I'm like that myself, so I get it. I thought the Nike Kids are Immigrant Air Maxes were the coolest thing I was going to see regarding immigrants this week, but this totally just took them off the map. Like this is everything about the visual language you chose. You made the story personal enough for me to understand, but you didn't overly emotionally invest yourself in the story, which is such a tightrope to walk when you're pitching. Kudos on that. Yeah, you literally had me all the way up until you started going a little too fast and rushing into the end.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
my question for you would be regarding government funding, that might prove a little bit of a tension, right? Between some people who might need this app the most and their capacity to trust what the app is used for. Do you have that living in your FAQs at all? Frequently asked questions and answers?
I currently don't have an FAQ yet
okay.
because I'm still doing customer discovery, so I'm not pitching to them. I'm just trying to understand what their problems are. But that is something that I've thought of because especially when it comes to governments, it's also important to consider each state's like political climates as well and their relationship with welcoming immigrants, like states like Texas, maybe. Yeah, Florida, Texas, Florida, they might be a little harder to get through, which is why I want to start in like places like New York and California, which are known to be a little more open. So that's something.
Maybe just because of Governor DeSantis, he's given you a gift of Martha's Vineyard as well. You can always, get up there and get active. Those people are very friendly and they would be more than willing to engage and support an app like this. No, this is seriously phenomenal. As a kid of immigrants myself, I feel seen. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was great. Great presentation. A lot of information. My first piece of feedback is ask for a lot more money. Well, first of all, I'm so impressed that you have a cost structure for $10,000 and you know exactly where every cent is going. That is fantastic. I would really like to see what you would do with 100 or 1 million, which goes back to, who those first hires would be. But something to note about, there is government funding. I was just talking here to one of the other judges about in my last startup before the pandemic, we took money from something called the New York City Partnership Fund. They invest in for-profit businesses that are impact driven in the state of New York. And the board is made up of like the 300 top employers in New York City. And then we also took money as a for-profit venture-backed startup from a foundation. And so we got a $250,000 grant as a for-profit startup in the technology space because of the impact we were having. And so there are foundations that will allocate money to you because you're making an impact. And it's really hard to find great mission-driven things to allocate resources to. So there's so many resources you can look at. And then there's a lot more money out there than there are good investments. So I think you're on the right path. I don't have many questions, but
sorry, what was the name of the fund you mentioned again?
I'll give it to you.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
I've been told to wrap it up, so I'm gonna be quick. They're all very on point. One piece of feedback, I would love to see what this app looks like, and you don't have to code it. If you could literally go on PowerPoint keynote slides and just make
wireframe?
This is the wireframe this, and I would give you money right now.
Okay.
Yeah. I want this is amazing. I love the idea of like the first gen immigrant experience in the app store, because every one of my friends who's gone through this has said this is what I have to do for my entire family at the time. Yeah. You should go call the New York Immigration Coalition, because this is what they do, and they will help you get over that trust factor, because that trust factor is huge. The only thing I'm skeptical of is the download fee, because so many communities that I've worked with in politics have basically seen the download fee as these people are trying to take advantage of me. If you make this free, maybe not even tie it to a particular phone number, I don't think the data you collect is going to be as valuable as the trust that you can build, because you can sell that to every lawyer, you can sell it to every accountant, you can sell it to every local person who is invested in these communities already.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So before I learned, we had Jump Right, and now we're hopping right along with Number Hop. Number Hop, come on up.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. We are a group of Manhattan College students who present to you today, Number Hop. So first, who we are, my name is Dylan Davis. I'm a mechanical engineering major.
My name is Lydia Gianluca. I'm a junior marketing major.
My name is John Palafroni. I'm a senior mechanical engineering major.
And my name is Sabrina, and I'm also a senior mechanical engineering major. So first, I just want to talk to you a little bit about what is Down syndrome. So the technical term for Down syndrome is trisomy 21, and it accounts for about 1 in 700 births in the United States. Down syndrome, children that are born with it tend to have neurological delays and physical differences. So let's talk about what is Number Hop and why we wanted to do this. So Number Hop is a toy with 6 easy to press buttons, and basically it is designed for children with Down syndrome ages 3 to 8. The reason why we decided to build Number Hop is because on the market, all the toys are made for neurotypical children. And it's really hard for parents to buy toys for their children that are for kids with Down syndrome. So this toy really helps with neurological advances and also helps with the fine motor skills.
So looking at Number Hop's original design, it includes multiple important features, such as a circular layout, which minimizes injuries due to sharp edges, 6 different buttons that children can press, maximizing simplicity while also still providing a challenge, and the use of lightweight materials, making the toy easy to transport. Number Hop also includes 2 unique game modes. The first game mode, which is called Level 1, resembles a practice mode where only 1 button can be pressed at a time, and the other buttons will be locked by a mechanism within the toy. The second game mode, which is called Level 2, is the standard way to play Number Hop, where all of the buttons are unlocked, and the child will have to choose and press the correct button designated by the toy itself.
So for our project, we did a SWOT analysis. Some of the strengths that we've encountered were it encourages fine motor skills and promotes independent play, so parents do not have to worry about whether or not their child is actually learning these skills. Some of the weaknesses that we came across were there are high development costs due to a relatively untouched market, and possibly the high development costs for manufacturing. However, the opportunities that we got into were that Number Hop can facilitate awareness for kids with Down syndrome through our marketing and our social media, as well as just word of mouth. And some of the threats are there are less expensive toys on the market, but those toys do not tailor to kids with Down syndrome, and they do not tailor to kids with the abilities that they need.
So we kind of have come out with more of a succinct rollout phase since you've last seen us. So right now we're in the prototype phase. We're kind of just spreading awareness of Down syndrome. We've started a small social media presence. You can follow us at Number Hop on Instagram. So from there, we've just started to explain to people what the toy is and what the vision for the toy is going to be. Once we are ready to and we have enough funding, we're going to head out into phase 2. It's going to be a small rollout. We're going to reach out to primary public schools starting in the Bronx, early intervention groups and advocacy groups. Within those groups, you're going to see physical therapists and occupational therapists, people who work closely with children with Down syndrome. And then phase 3 is when we are going to have enough capital to start in manufacturing in-house. And we're going to move to a private online retail channel. We found that this is probably going to be the best for us because of we're going to be able to control the packaging, we're going to be able to control shipping costs, and we can send them out on our own timeline. We're not paying a company like Amazon to promote the product for us. So our breakdown, Number Hop currently costs about $100 to manufacture, and we're retailing it for $140. Some of our longer term goals you saw on the previous slide is we're trying to lower the cost and manufacture in-house. This is going to help get the toy out to as many children as we possibly can. Any questions?
So we'll start with Ryan, but not long. Not
shorter. Yeah, I'm curious to learn more about how to use the toy and what sort of the path to more than one level is, and maybe also some examples of toys in the market that you like, some that you don't. what sentiment is on demand and need and that sort of thing?
Sure. So I could first off discuss how it works. So essentially the toy, it makes an announcement for the child to press, say button number 1, which I see over there. You can see the green button. He hasn't even pushed it. So that would essentially be the correct button. And when on level 1, when all the other buttons are locked, when the child pressed the correct button, it will say good job. When they press the rest of the buttons, it will be locked. So the child knows I can't press this button. Obviously it's not right. This is not the right number. Level 2 would be a little bit more advanced when all the buttons will be unlocked. And when they press the incorrect button, the toy will announce, try again, because we're trying to promote that positive reinforcement rather than a toy saying wrong or no, which can be a little bit overwhelming. So to say try again is going to be more positive for them. And also it really promotes that repetition for them to eventually realize, okay, I'm looking for that right number.
Down syndrome specific toys communicate. Is that a big part of the engagement with the toy?
So what I've researched within, there really is no toys on the market for Down syndrome at the moment. There are some for other neurotypical disorders out there, but for Down syndrome, no. And the way that through research looks like, Down syndrome children respond very well to repetition and that positive reinforcement, which is what we are trying to put into Number Hub.
You asked what our biggest like competitor technically would be. Right now we've kind of come up with Simon, which is just like the 4 quadrants and the yellow and the color, whatever. So that's kind of come up as like our biggest competition as of right now, but that's not tailored to children with Down syndrome.
Okay. And then maybe one of you could speak to demand, like in the market, size.
Do you want to do it? Okay, so the demand is children 3 to 8 with Down syndrome.
Okay.
We're kind of looking to have this go out through social media, come to the parents through the schools. We don't have like a kind of like a timeline to get this out. We're hoping like as soon as possible, obviously, but that's how we're going to kind of get it out to presenting and to having teachers recommend it to parents and to say, or occupational therapists, physical therapists. The long-term goal with this, or the goal of the toy, is to have parents purchase it when they turn 3-ish years old and have it until they turn 8. We're not saying that 8 is a hard cutoff date, but having that for like they're able to use it and it's kind of more of like an investment toy.
And then I'd like to add something to your question. When regarding the age of the child, typically neurotypical children, their brains develop from ages 2 to 6. Down syndrome children, they are slightly delayed in that aspect, so their brains develop at around 3 to 8. So that would definitely boost their cognitive abilities if those age ranges use this toy.
Yeah. And by the 5 motor skills, that's what we're kind of trying to talk about.
Hi. So feedback wise, I feel like you kind of buried the lead. Your edge, right? So
yeah.
in any engagement, right, where there are high stakes on the table, you're either holding the handle or you're holding the blade, right? Oh, by Instagram count, right? And by the way, Instagram feels you're holding the handle. Live wire, though, you're definitely holding the blade and you're kind of bleeding out a little bit. What I mean by that is this. The best part of this product, as I understand it, is that even though it's for a very niche age group, ages 3 to 8, it's a gift that you can keep gifting forward, right? So that wasn't mentioned or included in how you pitched or packaged this, right? The fact that there are no games save Simon really in the marketplace is something you should top box. That's not something you hope that you can get to at the end. You got to paint with color at the top. That's kind of, and you kind of see the thread I'm pulling on here. So those are the things that you guys can do better. I would actually be kind of impressed, since no one else here so far has an Instagram handle for their product or their offering, if you did kind of a debrief sharing with your following, right? Like some of the learnings, right? So it's not just about getting the checks, it's about getting the knowledge too, right? And frankly, investors are more interested in how you work with what you've learned, right? More so than how much you can show up or speak to how good the product is, right? Because the product's supposed to evolve. It's supposed to evolve from what you're learning. Based off what you're learning informs how much people are excited about investing.
I checked. They really do have an Instagram. Trey saw when I checked. 2 quick questions. 1, does the toy disassemble or no? It's whole all the time. And 2, in this phase, why did you decide to partner with a school?
So I can speak to the schools aspect. we kind of figured that all children go to school. And so that's going to be the easiest place to, I don't want to say target a group of children, but to have a group of children in one area that would have disabilities such as Down syndrome. So getting it out there, as well as the early advocacy groups, which you mentioned in our last pitch. So that's kind of how we chose that, that market. And then,
yeah, I could talk about the next part. So currently what you see right now is fully a prototype. This is something we 3D printed, purchased materials through our own school's budget. That is not what the product is going to look like. As you can see, there's some things that are not considered to be safe on there. Like there is an exposed bolt on there. The final product will be completely enclosed. You won't really, the only thing you'll be able to open it is where the batteries will go in, because that is how the power, it will be battery operated. In the future, we want to do a rechargeable battery, but the future it currently is battery operated. So the only thing that we'll be able to actually open is that batteries, because we want to keep it as clean and as easy as possible.
I agree that you need to walk people through the game, just because I did not get it at first glance. Kudos for the Instagram thing, because I also found you. I think I followed you last night.
You
and
did,
I unfollowed
you did.
Oh, yeah, and I unfollowed you, I think, because I thought I'm a judge and I'm supposed to do that.
No, we saw it real quick.
My game is not good. Has this prototype been played with by anyone in your target market?
We actually had a mechanical engineering day at our school today, so we had a couple people just test it and see, but we have not presented it to people in the market yet.
I asked just because, like, one thing that I would love to see is someone very happily playing with this. Just because
that is the plan.
I don't like playing Simon, and I get it. It's what you're saying is very apt, that like the kind of feedback loop you're trying to build doesn't exist out there. Just a quick marketing note. I would be saying the phrase "the only toy designed for," and get approval, get like feedback from the kids and the parents. The only toy designed by and for children with Down syndrome is an SEO dream that you should own immediately.
Very good.
That's good. Yeah.
Thanks, Number Hub.
Thank you.
All right. So next we have Share Your Ad. Sherry?
All right. So hi, everyone. I'm Sherry. I'm a second year undergrad at Fordham, and my company is called Share Your Ad. So Share Your Ad is a media production company that's the only one of its kind, because it would allow you to split your ad with 4 complementary products. So let's say you're a sunglass brand and you want to shoot a commercial, then we would pair you with similar products such as towels, flip-flops, and sunscreen. And then you would share your ad commercial with them. We would help you shoot the commercial. And then later on, we would also connect you with streaming services, and you would split the price of the ad space as well. And so ultimately, it's going to be a win-win for both the commercial clients and the ad space sellers. And I'll get more into that aspect later. So a little bit about my background. Last summer, I worked as an associate producer for a commercial production company. And that gave me a lot of insight into budget and how inefficient budget can be. So as you can see, a lot of it went to location, paying out crew, but there's not really any product specific costs. And so with these recurring costs, it's going to be super simple to just split it between different products. So a $38,000 shoot for 4 days could be split for become around 10,000. And the way Share Your Ad would be paid is pretty much they would pay for the cost of the commercial, which is pretty standard in the industry, and then we would get a little bit of a cut for pairing them with other products. And now about ad space. So ad space prices can range a lot, but it can get as expensive for like that prime 30 seconds up to $800,000. And that $800,000 split between 200,000. And so that would also give smaller businesses that don't really have the platform to be able to compete with these big guys on this really prime advertising space. But there's also the advertising issues. Not every streaming channel wants to just sell to anyone. They need to protect their brand safety. If you have an offensive ad, the viewers aren't going to come back, and so they don't want that. And so pretty much we will also be looking out for brand safety, because as we're matching complementary products together, we're already checking to make sure who they are, our clientele, and how they mesh together. And so it's going to combine well into looking out for the brand safety of these ad spaces. And so pretty much we'll be the middleman for ad spaces as well, and we have no competitors. So ultimately, Share Your Ad will cut the recurring cost in production by allowing you to split your ad, and it will also help out advertisers with brand safety. So ultimately, we're a budget-friendly production company that's going to be looking out for the smaller guys that want to break into that bigger advertising space. Yep, thank you.
Let's say I'm coming from Omnicom and I'm like, put a number on paper. How much would you sell this production company for? Because it's not so much an IP, it's more like a service offering that makes it's at the MVP, the most valuable product your production company offers. So is that something that you're going to protect and like, or something you're willing to sell in a silo? Like you're willing to sell that off from the production company?
I would say I'd be willing to sell it off, but I think the main appeal right now is a lack of competitors. And so it's about like patenting that and making sure that it would be the only one in a sense.
You want to take this methodology and put some, like make it like your company's IP? Is that how you'd want to bring it to market?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay, that's something you got to say. It's like leaving the price tag off of a deck. Like it looks great, but like how much is it going to cost me?
Yeah, understood.
What services would your company provide other than shooting? Other than like shooting the video, other than shooting the ad, like what else do you do for the customer?
In addition, it was like pretty standard within the entertainment, like producing industry, is that you would shoot the ad and then you would also edit it for the customer. And then the customer would get back editing notes. And so the main difference is that with the 4 different products, you're going to have a little bit of like a different end slide of like, so you're selling the sunglasses, you have the sunglasses in the commercial, but you're selling the towel. Then the end cut would be of mostly the towel. If that makes sense.
So I just want to make sure I understand this. So you're shooting one commercial, like you're featuring the sunglasses, the towel, the beach location, and you're shooting one commercial that features all 3, but then there's 3 versions of the ad with a different end card that fit into 30-second slots so you can sell to different things. Is that so? It's almost like cost arbitrage for production, because you're getting the difference that all these people would end up spending to produce their own ads. Have you tested this with people? Companies have been like, yes, I would love to have my Budweiser next to my Ray-Bans.
No, I have not actually.
Okay.
This is just.
It's a cool idea, and I will tell you 2 quick things. There is a market for arbitrage. Arbitrage is like figuring out the difference in prices between 2 things and then getting that difference for yourself. There is a huge market for arbitrage with very expensive ad spaces. Like Link NYC ads can only be bought for $30,000 at a pop, and small businesses can't drop that, but they can drop 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. And there's very big opportunities for arbitrage for shooting costs because production is insane. And if you can line everybody up and everyone thinks you're getting the best deal, that's great. Those are service businesses though. And the connection between those 2 things is your whole proposal. I would need to hear testimonials that this works because I really need to hear from customers what their thoughts are on it.
Yeah, I would second that in terms of just saturation in general from those types of ads, when I think that a lot of smaller companies that are working on a budget are actually some of the best at working on a budget and creating great content. They're not the ones that are going out and spending big money because they can't. And so they're usually pretty scrappy at creating their own content with an iPhone, or, you know, most of the influencers I know with a couple million followers still shoot and edit their own content on an iPhone. And so I think more it's a curiosity of demand, and that's probably the biggest gap. And then also scalability. So how this scales and how you service people feels really manual, which is fine. But I think then building a service-based business you need more like information, because I think that if I'm an advertiser and I see this working for you and I'm a production company, I'm just going to also offer that. And then all of a sudden, every production company at scale that's bigger than you is now offering the same thing. And then you lose that sort of differentiation, And I think it's not really something IP from an IP perspective that you could like protect.
I would say to the iPhone aspect, the point of like the production company being different is because it's like, yes, you could every like small business are making their own content with like TikTok, social media, but it's like those big commercial ad spots on like TV are still like a different area that those smaller businesses can't touch. And so you do have to pay a bit more as a smaller business to get there, but we're letting you pay a lot less still.
Okay. Thank you. Share your ad. Pal Deliver. You're up.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Pal Deliver, solving the last mile delivery problem locally. My name is William Reed. I'm currently studying civil engineering at Manhattan College, and my two teammates are Poria Botcher and Ravendra T. Unfortunately, Poria couldn't be here at the moment since he's on a master thesis seminar over in Europe. But for more information about us, check her LinkedIn pages because we're under a clock. So anyways, on to the next slides. So New York City, with a population of 8.47 million people, it's the most populous city in the entire United States. So understandably, congestion is at an all-time high. And this isn't helped by one of the largest vehicles of them all, trucks. They take up the most amount of space on roads and curbs. They take the largest amount of time to unpack. And they also have the highest delivery rates as well. Drivers go all these miles for high hourly rates, which adds up a lot of congestion over time, and not to mention a lot of CO2 emissions from the trucks. Next slide. And this will all be made worse with the proposal of congestion pricing, which, depending on where you are, can cost truckers or shippers anywhere between $12 to $82 just to access certain parts of the city. And if your package just so happens to be in the middle of this shipping congestion, tracking it isn't very easy. You have to go onto the company's website, which isn't really updated all that often. So once your package eventually does arrive, it's subject to a waiting area or a front door where it's subject to other people picking it up. And as a matter of fact, $6 billion worth of packages were stolen in 2020 alone, because not every building has a doorman or a security system. So there's no real way to keep your package safe. There's no way to know where it is. There's no way to have it there really in a safe and efficient time. So what can be done to solve most of these issues and costs and risks with the last mile delivery? Solution? Meet them in the middle. Pal Delivery essentially employs people who are paid per package instead of per hour, and they basically take the package from a designated unloading center in a cart to their apartment where they watch over it for a certain amount of time until the customer is ready to meet them face-to-face and pick up the package. From the Pal Delivery app, users are able to see which pals are nearby, so this way they could go to their apartment and just meet them, get the package at a designated waiting area. This does wonders for everyone involved, since it saves millions of dollars in shipping fees, gas prices, parking tickets for the companies, and it also establishes a system of truck. And another thing too is that it also reduces congestion on the road, so this way it's less CO2 emission, more sustainability, and less traffic. And despite these, and in addition to these economic benefits, you also have a social pact of trust building, since users will be able to rate the pals based on something known as trust rating, in which you can rate how trustworthy they are, how worthy they are. You get the idea, but basically how trustworthy they are. Anyways, another thing too is that you can pick up the package at any time of the day, since it also helps community employability, since in the future, Pal Delivery will be looking towards hiring college students as well as seniors who are in search of extra revenue. So anyone can be employed at any time of the day to pick up a package. Next slide. Basically, our mission is to make apartments or houses as temporary warehouses to watch over a package until a customer is ready to meet them to pick it up. Next slide. So we plan on starting within the general New York City region, probably Manhattan, maybe somewhere that's not too busy like Greenwich Village. But even if we go to the projected 1% market share, that's still thousands of individuals and businesses. So that's going to be plenty of clients there alone. So as of right now, the prototype app costs about $10,000 as estimated by RetroCube, as well as a 3-month pilot where we'll essentially employ 10 pals and debrief them on how to operate the service. But it will also be free for individuals. Basically, based on this unofficial mock-up draft that we have, users will have the option to pallet or PAL their package, in which it'll show them which pallets are nearby to hold it. They'll select PAL, and then it'll be sent to that address where they can meet them later on. Next slide. So this leads us to a key term, co-opetition. Competitors are also collaborators. As of right now, we still have to reach out to various industries, small and large alike. Courier companies is also another name for large businesses like Uber, Amazon, FedEx. But the thing with the small businesses is that we can also charge them a lower price. So this way they get less of a burden or less of a higher price tag when compared to the larger companies who have a larger budget. So we're still trying to determine exactly how much to charge these companies depending on how far they want to ship it. But individuals will still be able to use the app for free, in which we'll also develop a premium service where they could have the pallets eventually delivered to their locations. But that's further down the road. So as of right now, we're still trying to identify our customers. We're still trying to figure out what to charge who. But basically, we'll be starting with about 10 pals. And from here, depending on the feedback of our pilot service and with extra funding, we could eventually hire more pals and expand to other parts of New York City, as well as other cities nearby. So not only does PAL Deliver solve the last mile delivery problem by reducing congestion and knowing exactly where your package is, but it also builds a social pact of trust building, as it gives pals a sense of responsibility as someone that people can trust. So, ready to pal your package?
Okay, let's start at the end with our judges.
So I love your energy. It's going to cost a lot more than that. I'm just going to warn you. And you should not be afraid of that, because if you undersell it, it makes it look like you don't know how much it's going to cost, and you've clearly done the work that shows that you do. I just had one kind of expansive question. Partnering with Amazon is going to take a little bit. Have you considered creating a browser plugin? Think like Honey. I don't know if you know that. A Google Chrome plugin, something that when someone orders something and they want it to be picked up, you can scan the page or something like ChatGPT and instantly make it into a PAL order. It would probably speed things up a bit. And I was just curious if you've explored that.
May I answer that? So,
yeah, of course.
Yeah. So our idea is to start with some no-code tools and have a bare minimum IT infrastructure to track and understand who is ordering. And initially we would be getting in touch with 2 or 3 small businesses, pick an area and try to deliver there and see how this goes. And once this pilot is validated, that's when we would be confident to scale and build bigger things. So far, there are a lot of no-code tools which would help us in building these kind of products under like $10,000. That's a real estimate we have. And as far as we consider it, they can handle load up to like some 500,000 deliveries per day. So they are like quite robust applications that are available, which are like we can take off the shelf, customize and use them. So we believe that if you have an infrastructure, IT infrastructure ready, a bare minimum MVP ready with us, then we can hit the streets and do this. And based on the data that's available there, we can do certain analytics, and at the same time we can build certain optimization models so that we can improve the efficiency of delivery, reduce the costs, congestion, and improve the sustainability. Also, this provides employment to the local individuals, like in the community, in the neighborhood, so that they don't have to travel much further. So that's good.
Just about the small businesses that is there an archetype that you're starting with, like, laundry businesses? People don't want their underwear stolen from their thing when it's delivered, or things like that.
So we primarily are looking at a small sized products that can be delivered. For example, the Number Hop, their product is small, and Jump Right. So we do have these kind of products that can be delivered by individual to individual. So that would be the first thing we'd be targeting. And afterwards, depending on what we learn from this space, we would be exploring other things. Yeah.
Guys, great job.
Thank you.
That was really fun, mostly because I've had packages stolen in New York, live in Soho, no doorman. Yeah, I just wanted to add a couple of references that would sort of surprise and delight that I think are applicable. One for sure is Honey. I think creating a single line of code with an API that can integrate as a Google Chrome extension, like Honey sold for $4 billion to PayPal, and they don't really do much. Like it's not that great of a product in my opinion, but the arbitrage, and then but also it's a Google Chrome extension. Like everyone just downloads it. Whether they use it or not is not that important because you'll get acquired for your users as well. The other thing in terms of the manual side of your business to reference is something like TaskRabbit, which raised $40 million before it was bought by IKEA. And I think that's another great reference of something that I use all the time in New York. And then the third and the bigger thing might be even like Airbnb, right? Starting to use apartments. Hey, I'm renting out my couch. You're crazy. Well, it turns out they weren't so crazy. So I think that you have all of those paths in front of you laid out that are great references that then say, okay, maybe you should spend 100 on the app, not 15, 20. And I think you're in a position to maybe raise some real money for this and look at doing a larger sample size. So I think a little bigger, but yeah, no real question.
About Airbnb as well is that in terms of employing pals, we'll be utilizing the same shared business model as Uber and Airbnb. To do proper background checks, how to interact with customers, get paid, all that stuff.
I would lean into all of that existing infrastructure and those other like established companies.
Just to clarify why we are going through this model, we are applying these principles of lean startup or evidence-driven entrepreneurship. We just want to make sure that we need to be validated before raising a lot of money. So that it goes straight and we ensure that the business is actually creating revenues and value. So we want to validate that and only then we would like to go big. And that's the reason we showed the small numbers.
Just to be clear, what I was saying was going to cost more isn't the development, it's recruiting validated people. Because getting good people to not disappear with packages is going to cost you a lot more money than I think you might. You're gonna have to budget for that.
Sure. Absolutely. That's the key risk we have in this business. I agree.
That's Uber.
And the added layer to your situation is, when it comes to a car, that is strictly tied to the person who's like got the deed to the car, right? Or they've got the registration like tied to that person. An apartment can have a whole bunch of people living inside. We're in New York, right? So literally go to Dykeman, you go this way, you go that way. You could have 5-7 people in the apartment. I'm exaggerating, but you never really know, right? Coming and going can be dangerous. So that's a sensitivity to be mindful of. But talking about size, you guys are really good at this. I don't know what happened to your third guy, but it's maybe best y'all just do this like as a co-pilot situation because the energy, my point is the net is this, right? All that Honey, AI, Google stuff, whatever for that. And I'm not saying whatever because it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is like when your business is so much about technology, the thing that you really need to sell is personality. And you, Willie Reed, have that in spades. So I mean, you have it too, but I mean, you gave him the mic most of the time, so I only heard you towards the back end, but that is really a special component of what you guys offer here.
So I'm going to move on, but I'm going to lead off with you. Is that okay? All right. I appreciate you. Thank you, Pal Deliver. We're on to our last team.
Thank you.
Aliza, please take the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a story about my mom, Aliza. She's an incredibly skilled woman, but she lost her job due to her disability. Like her, millions of people around the world are capable of amazing things, but they don't have the opportunity to showcase their skills. When my mom lost her job, she also lost her joy and happiness of life. This taught me how important and critical it is to have a job placement for every human being. And this inspired me to create Aliza. There are many kinds of disabilities, but autism is the fastest growing disability. Despite having superlative technical skills, 84% of college-educated autistic individuals are unemployed. In New York alone, there are more than 70,000 unfilled tech positions. Autistics struggle with interview due to expectations like eye contact and strong handshakes. As a result, the unique abilities remain untapped in the workforce. We want to solve this problem, and therefore we present this solution. We advocate for autistic talent in front of companies. We provide personalized training for the autistic individuals and their future colleagues at the company, so they will know how to work together. Along the way, we provide end-to-end services, including job matching, mentorship, therapy, And we desire to create a supportive community for the autistic individuals, and not only a place to work. We have some proven opportunity that I would like to share with you today. A few years ago, JP Morgan Chase launched its Autism at Work program. They reported that within 6 months, their autistic peers performed at the same level of quality as their typical peers with 5, 10, or even 15 years of experience. Not only that, but the autistics were found to be almost 50% more productive than their typical peers. So how big is this opportunity? Well, as you can see here, it's huge. Our initial target market consists of 67.2 million globally and 500,000 autistic individuals residing in New York and New Jersey. Our financial plan is to take 10% commission on each placement upfront, in addition to 1% every month from the employers. In addition to that, the candidates also pays $95 as a membership basis for ongoing services. This design ensures that we will continue to provide our clients the services that they need to help them remain employed and increasing the retention rate of autistic individuals at the company level. By 2026, we projected 29 million in revenue. So this is a new emerging market with plenty of space to grow. We are currently only have 3 main competitors, but none of them operate in New York or in the tri-state area. And none of them provide ongoing support for the autistic individuals. They only provide placement services. So this is why we decided to start to operate here. So our plan to do it, we partner with companies advocating for autistic talent. We work with universities to support talented individuals from specific ASD programs at universities. Along the way, we provide end-to-end support, including job matching, mentorship, therapy, and all the services that they need. We also focus on creating supportive community for the autistic individuals, and not only a place to work. With this plan, our goal is to match talent to demand and bringing autistic adults into the workforce, benefiting both the individuals and the companies. In conclusion, investing in Aliza will not only yield a significant financial return, but also a real social impact. We are very excited about the potential of Aliza to change lives, and we hope you will support us to do that. Thank you so very much.
And we'll lead off with you, Michael.
I love the visuals from the whole deck. They were clean, well done. Have you talked to any employers or any companies yet?
Yes, I started to create some collaborations with JP Morgan, Chase, and IBM. And yeah, it's just a start, but I'm working on it.
Let's see what we can do about adding MasterCard to that short list of yours. I mean, y'all almost had it, but she came with the smoke at the end, though. This was really, really good. Everything about the visual style, your confidence. Again, there's a personal touch to it, but you disconnected from getting too personal, just enough time for me to get personal with it. And that's how I know you're probably really good at doing this in the room. So
I mean, this is my mission of life. This is what I really want to do. So it's very important for me, and I invest in everything that I have in this. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is great. Not a lot of feedback. Just want to know how I can help.
Let's talk after. Yeah, I mean, right now I'm just speaking with every person that can help me in any way. I just started to also, I have some collaboration with a career advisor that working with autistic individuals already, and they also like guide me through the process. I won some money at the Foundry competition, so I use it in order to pay them to train volunteers, because right now I don't have, funds to pay salaries, but I mean, it's possible to train people, to train volunteers to be mentors for the autistic individuals. So right now I'm just, trying to build the collaborations and the partnerships with universities. I know exactly where there is ASD programs. I know exactly with which companies I want to speak. And I'm trying, to make the connection.
That's called more than trying. That's called doing the work.
So I'm doing the work. Thank you.
So speaking of doing the work, just because I saw projected revenue 29 million by 2026, have you done this already with different folks?
I have I have my financial projections already. I'm working with people from the field, from the financial field. So they review it and they make sure that,
Oh yeah, no,
I know what I'm doing.
but I mean, like, have you placed someone in a job yet?
Not yet, but I'm planning to do it over the summer.
I full confidence that you're going to. I have an invisible disability, and the lack of accommodations are so bad in this world that I literally had to start my own company to get them. So thank you. The story and everything, the pitch was great. I just want to flag that, like, the city of New York is having a massive hiring crisis to the point where they're taking out full page ads in the New York Times, and this is exactly the kind of program that they're looking for, and they've tried to recreate it internally and they haven't been successful. So you should probably call a couple of folks in the city.
I already started to do it, but thank you so much.
Thanks, Cheval. Thanks, Eliza. Okay, so that concludes our 6 pitches. So please give a round of applause for our founders. Okay, so now our judges have the responsibility of deciding, of all of these great teams, who's going to be first place, second place, third place. But you all get to decide who will be the People's Choice Award winner. So our judges, we'll usher you out. So we'll see you once you are done deliberating. Farewell, good luck. But for you all in the audience, please, I invite you to get out your phones and scan this QR code. This QR code is going to take you to a Slido poll. This is where you get to vote for the People's Choice winner. So if you weren't aware of the team names, or all you knew was who went third and I like that team, we made it really easy for you. So we will give you a 2-minute warning when the polls are closing, but vote early and vote, well, once. Now, while we're doing that, we do encourage you to get out of your seats, move around, meet somebody to the left, to the right, or even further, and enjoy the food, beverage, and the time that we have together while the judges are deliberating. And we will reconvene once they've concluded. And to the people on the internet, we'll see you in a bit too.
All right, everybody, you ready to hear who won this competition? Let's get it going. All right. I'm Don Gibson, Dean of the O'Malley School of Business, Manhattan College. It's been a pleasure to be at Fordham. And thank you to the judges. Nice work. Now, judges, do you want to comment when we reveal a winner? Do you want to comment on these, or is it no, they don't. All right, very good. I think that was we have done our job. Now it's your job. All right. I have the pleasure of first announcing third place. And the winner of third place is on the Big Check Deliver Pal. Our pal delivered. Congratulations. Excellent work. All right, I think we get to take a big picture here. There we go. Yeah. All right. You get the best. All right. Nice work. Okay. I feel like we need a drum roll or something here, but all right, everybody, come on. All right. In second place, it is. That's right. Aliza. You got great feedback from the judges. That's great. All right. Photo off. There you go. Get used to it. Yeah. Oh, and I didn't do feedback from the judges. Any final comments? Yeah. You get the big check. Take it to Bank of America. Yeah. All right. And now I believe we have our People's Choice Award. And that's right, Number Hop. I think you won our audience favorite. Here, you guys. All right, and now what you've all been waiting for. In first place, drum roll, please. In first place, I Learn US. Your second very real. That's right. You're good. Absolutely. Nice work.
Great work, everyone. One more time. For our top three, I just want to say Deliver Pal, excellent. We also had excellent energy and really the social impact, right? The fact that decarbonization and just thinking about last mile and how to do that efficiently is understated. The South Bronx in particular is very worried about congestion pricing and how it's going to push more traffic. Who else? I miss Aliza really quick. Love the there you go. Love the research. Like we lit up when we saw the research part from JP Morgan in particular. And lastly, I Learn USA. What? US. I really think the confidence and the exactness when I asked you catalytic, like what would you do with it? Right away, right? You recognize your SWOT, and I really appreciated that answer and the energy from all of you all. Just keep going. Improvement. I've seen the first version of some of these pitches, so just keep improving.
Yes, I think that I Learn US had not just the sharp answers to where the money's going, but I can see as we get closer to 2040, those of you who don't know what I mean, there's a great minority majority transition happening in this country. That feels so smart, on the money and ahead of the curve in the right way, that I think as we get closer to that date and that time, we'll be happy that you had this idea and that we got behind it. For Eliza, likewise, I think it is very much, it like begs empathy, and that's a very powerful thing, and getting that from technology in a way that touches a lot of people is really powerful. For the pals, I think the thing that's really beautiful about what you're offering is it's about community, right? I mean, there's a transactional component involved, but building up civics, ethics amongst neighbors again, post 2020, that is like the hidden gem in yours, and I'm really excited about seeing what you guys do with that bit of funding, and I'm rooting for you guys.
Yeah, I just want to echo that on Deliver Pal. I think the third place slot fit you guys because it's going to be harder to execute. And I think, getting to a place of confidence there is what's in front of you in terms of team building and advisors, money, but love the idea. And then Eliza, again, great research. Love that you're already in conversations with big institutions. I think that you have an opportunity to build other businesses on top of this business when it comes to training and other resources. And other large businesses, Salesforce as an example, is a business where employees take monthly training courses and they're rewarded with badges, bonuses, extra vacation days. So, creating a program where there's ongoing training is an interesting sort of subset there. But 84% is a massive number for millions of capable workers. And autism is also one of the most expensive issues to deal with, whether you're a family or an individual. So an income stream there is awesome. And then for iLearn, again, with that 2040 sentiment, oftentimes the most important question for any venture-backed business is this the right time to build this business? And I think that's where you're in a really great position to do that. And everyone needs your help in government to do that.
So everybody here who has an idea that you are pursuing, if you do not buy your domains, I will. That is not a joke. They cost $12 on Google Domains, and there is no reason. I will buy your domains. Everyone go buy your domains. If you buy them on GoDaddy, they'll put up a coming soon page for you. Please buy your domains and your Instagram handles, the whole thing. You don't want to be fighting someone for DeliverPal and have to pay them $80,000. It's just not going to be fun. It's yeah. One thing about the pitches in general, customer journeys are a really effective way to show that you know your product, you know your marketing, and you know your customer. Explaining how they're going to find you, why they're going to love you, and then how they're going to tell their friends is what I look for in every presentation. And some of you had it, some of you didn't, some of you had it more developed. That customer journey will win the game every time. The top three for me, and I know for a few judges, we were points within each other. So you all did a truly fantastic job. I can't wait to see what you do. I know all of us are sharing our info with everybody because I think that there's a lot that your mentors here and everyone who's involved with both colleges are willing to help. So go buy your domains and come talk to us.
All right. Thanks to our judges. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, everyone. Any final